I'm Gina Gutierrez. I'm with DIAKADI Fitness Performance Center in San Francisco, and we're back again for another episode of Summer School with DBO4. Today I have Nate Miyaki with me. He's fitness author and trainer with DIAKADI, and we are going to be talking about cardio. So Nate, there's a
the C word.
There's a big cardio question out there. There's a lot of information on the internet, magazines, you know, amongst family, friends. Not always quite sure what to do and how to go about cardio.
Sure.
So for this series, we're purely focusing on physique and leaning out and defining and getting the best body for summer.
Great.
So what would be your recommendations for cardio, knowing that information?
Yeah, that's a great distinction because for physique, I have basically a 3-step process that I use. And that is, I use diet for 80% of fat loss. So nutrition is by far the most important when it comes to you know, physique enhancement and fat loss. Then I use kind of non-formal activity levels, like, hey, go walk on the weekend, take a hike on the weekend for the final 20% of fat loss. And then anytime I train, any formal training I do is either for, you know, for performance athletes, it'd be, hey, get better at the physiological demands of your sport. So if you got to run in your sport, run long distances in your training. But for pure physique development, I prefer focusing on building muscle because diet's already taking care of 80% of fat loss. So when I'm in the gym, my programs are geared towards one thing, building muscle. For that, I think strength training is a much better mode of training to do that than cardiovascular work. So for someone who's focused purely on physique, cardio is not as important as someone who is a performance-based athlete. I will use cardio for in some of my programs. Usually it's for people who are really overweight, and they do have those physique goals, but they're a long way away from achieving them. So for someone who's, say, 30% body fat, I'll just have them walk every day because you can't overdo that. It's easy on the joints. It's not a stress on the hormonal or metabolic systems.
So 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
Yeah, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Build up to walking an hour every day for someone who's really overweight. And that's, I don't even have them exercise at that point. It's focusing on their diet and walking daily. For someone who's more in that intermediate range, I still focus on strength training more than cardio. You can include it if you want, but I think you're better off focusing on strength training than cardiovascular work. But someone who just likes to do it, hey, they get a runner's high and they go out, you know, as little as possible, right? Go out, run twice a week just to get that fix in, but focus way more on strength training because, again, diet takes care of 80% of fat loss. You shouldn't really trying to burn fat when you're working out. If your goal is pure physique, you should be trying to build muscle because muscle is what shapes your body and provides that tightness and tone and definition, not going out there and trying to burn fat. You actually might burn some muscle if you're overdoing the cardio.
Right. For that group of people, like, and they're just choosing cardio that they enjoy, running, rowing, cycling, or whatnot, do you suggest going for a period of time or doing interval trainings, one better than the other?
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer they do more interval-based cardio because, again, it's more anaerobic, and I tend if the goal is physique, to kind of focus my programs on anaerobic training, not aerobic training, because overdoing aerobic training is where you get cortisol elevation, muscle loss, things like that, depletion of energy reserves, and again, since I use diet for 80% fat loss, someone's already kind of depleted when they're in a calorie deficit trying to build that beach physique. So too much cardio can actually deplete them, start leading to muscle loss, things like that. The one group I will add some cardio back into their programs is someone who's very lean, trying to get in peak beach physique shape, or someone like a competitor or a model or something like that. We might add, again, some low intensity walking a few times a day just to get that final 5 to 10% of fat loss. But that's, again, it's very low intensity walking. It's not that traditional cardio that can, again, lead to muscle loss and sort of met rate slowdown and some hormonal problems and things like that. So
Great. So overall, I think that we should know what group you fit into. Are you looking to lose a lot of weight? Are you looking for pure physique, or are you already fit and looking for that peak kind of performance?
That's right. That's correct. Yeah.
And then from there, basically knowing that 80% of it is nutrition. 20 is kind of that informal activity, kind of enjoyment. maybe limited cardio.
Right, exactly. As little as possible, because you can start, and it gets confusing because people will read like about models and bodybuilders in the magazines.
Yeah.
They're not always telling you the full story. So they could be losing muscle and impairing their thyroid production, testosterone production with too much cardio, but they're taking some physique enhancing drugs on top of that. So those negative drawbacks don't necessarily show up in those phases. So you'll see it a lot of times. I get emails from competitors all the time, just be like, hey, they were doing 2 hours of cardio a day to get in stage shape, and they completely destroyed their natural metabolic and hormonal production. And 2 months later, they're actually obese because they just destroyed their metabolism and hormones. So don't go that direction, because you don't, in the fitness industry, we don't always hear the full story.
And then lastly, just focus on your strength training goals.
Yeah. Like in my plans, if you ask me the ideal plan for physique, it's diet for 80% fat loss, like we said, non-formal activity or a little bit of cardio for the 20%, and then the majority of your program should be focused on building lean muscle. The best way to do that is strength training.
Okay, perfect. And that is going to be our upcoming video series, is getting all into the strength training with summer school with DB04. We're going to break it down for you and show you the best exercises to get the best beach body.
Oh,
thank you so much,
that sounds
Nate.
fun.
We'll see you guys.